Now we will discuss about what is meant by inventory control. Otherwise, we can call it as inventory management. Okay. So first of all, we should know that what is meant by inventory in general terms. In general terms, inventory called like a materials in stock. Okay. Or otherwise, we can call it as a ideal resources of an enterprises. So ideal resources in the sense, what do you mean? Hope you are aware that resources called man, machine and materials for any industry. Okay, so all three, these three M like man, machine, material will be called as a resources for any particular industry, because that will be needed to convert raw materials into meaningful products for the customer, right? So that all comes under resources. So ideal resources called as a inventory, including man, machine and material. But most of the industry will be spending money or time on controlling the materials which is available inside the industry. Okay, so that is what mainly discuss about inventory control, materials in stock. So you can ask, so then they won't consider about a man, or they won't consider about material. Yes, they do consider about man, and they do consider about the machineries also, but mostly they invest on material control. Okay, so material in stock, and they will identify what are the ideal resources available in the industry, like ideal materials there in the industry also they will check. So inventory in the sense where it is available, in what are the stages of manufacturing or production the inventories are available. If we can know that. So in that case, three stages we can say. So what are the three stages? Take it from the raw material stage. So once we purchase some components or parts for raw materials for making some final products. For example, if you are considering the automobile vehicles, then you will be buying some steel, right? Steel or some materials like a cast iron or some frame glasses and that. So that is raw material, but it is not directly involved in the production, just you will be buying that. So that is considered as the inventory, one stage. Second, okay, you started decided to make some product like a automobile, same automobile if you are making with multiple variants. In that time, the raw material will be entering into the plant. Okay, plant in the sense, you will be having lots of machineries, and you will be having flexible manufacturing system, flexible manufacturing cell, standalone machines, various machineries will be there, right? So that raw material which you purchased will be traveling according to the nature of the product. What are the features available in the product, it will go to each and every machineries inside the industry, right? So once it's traveling, sometime it will be stored in between two machineries, right? Between process it should be needs to be stored, or between in like assembly, during assembly time, all the parts, various parts will be from a different production line will be placed in one location, then finally it will be assembled, right? That storage, that also comes under inventory. So first stage of inventory is what? Raw material. Second stage will be your work in process. Third stage will be after you make the product. Okay, so after you done assembly automobile, same example I'm repeating, after you make that automobile or vehicle, if you make, it will be stored in your yard to dispatch to the customer, right? So that also comes under inventory. So totally inventory will be there in any industry or enterprise in three level. One is raw material stage, second one is work in process, third one is at the final stage after production for before dispatching to the customer. Okay, so these are the three things you have to remember. Then what is meant by cycle time of manufacturing? So the cycle time is called interval. The interval between once you receive the components or parts and transforming them into the final product. Okay, so that time gap So from purchase of raw material to sending it as a final product, the time gap is there. No? That time is called as a cycle time. It depends on industry to industry. It will be vary. Okay, you can't fix it. It depends on the nature of product you are having, how much resources you are having. Resources again, man, machine, materials you are having. Then this time can be fixed. Okay, so cycle time, if it is lower with good quality product, you will be gaining lots of profit. That is obvious one. Okay, then if you have a cycle time, you will be having the cycle time in the sense you have to hold some inventory. Okay, so in order to do a manufacturing, you have to have some inventories in between. That is locally you have to have a inventory. That is, we can call it as a buffer between supply and demand. Then only we can able to perform the operations or run the production efficiently. Okay, otherwise it is difficult for us to continue the production. It may stop. Some disturbance may there in between, during in between the operation or process, or some shortfall in components or parts, so the production won't be running. So you should have a buffer in order to give or deliver for the or satisfy for the demand. Okay, that's in the sense efficiently controlling that particular inventory is very very important for any industry in order to run the production smoothly and also without any disturbances. If you want to produce the component, inventory control is very very important. So this slide we have discussed a few things. One is what is meant by inventory. Inventory is called materials in stock, and sometimes we can call it as a ideal resources in any enterprises. So actually, three inventories. One is in raw material stage, second one is work in process stage, third one is the finished component stage. Then what is meant by cycle time of manufacturing? Purchased parts and how it is transformed, how much time takes to transform as a final product. The time gap or time took to complete the purchased component or parts to converted as a final product using some manufacturing process, that is called cycle time. So it varies, depends on industry to industry. So in order to run the production or manufacturing smoothly, we should have a buffer. Okay, then only we can able to supply for the demand efficiently, and we have to control the inventories properly in order to run the production or manufacturing smoothly. Okay, so this is the outcome from this slide. Then what are the reasons we should keep inventories? That is, basically we know that why we have to keep inventory. Any example if you take, like if your household or stationaries you are having. Okay, so for example, you guys are writing exams and all, you should have some white sheets, right? So or you will be taking some printouts and also that is also comes under inventories. Okay, so similarly, in industry point of view, you consider. So, what are the reasons for keeping inventory is to establish or to stabilize production. Okay, so in order to stabilize the production, you should have inventories. Until otherwise you are not keeping inventories, you won't some sudden disturbances or sudden shortfall will happen, then it will disturb the production. So in order to run the production stable manner, you should have inventories. Okay, and you should, if you want to take advantage of price discounts, you should keep some inventories. For example, some seasonal discounts will be announced or some competitor give some discounts. That time also you may announce some discount or yearly discounts. You may, if you have a yearly discount, that time you may have a lots of sales. Okay, that time if you don't have inventories, the third stage of inventories like a finished component, then you won't gain your profit. Okay, so even though the discount will be there, but number of sales will be more if you give some discount. During that time, you should have some inventories. Okay, to take advantage of price discount, you should have or you should keep some inventories in and to meet the demand during the refill or refreshment period. That is what this meaning, replacement period in the sense the refill period or reorder period. So that is what to meet the demand, you have to keep the inventories, and also to prevent loss of orders. Okay, so until otherwise you are providing your customers the products what they need, then you will be losing the orders from the. You should not uh, disturb them, or you should satisfy them by providing them the required components. For example, the demand will be there, then you should always keep your components with you or your products with you. Whenever they are asking, you have to give. Suddenly they may increase the demand. Okay, suddenly they may increase the demand, they will have. So instead of giving like a 20 products, can you give like a 35 products, something like that. Suddenly they may give the demand, that time you should give that. During that time, if you're telling no, 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 I don't have additional you are at the last time you are asking, I can't able to provide, in the sense, if that components only manufactured by you guys or our industry alone, it's fine. If not, they will be going for some other suppliers or company. So we should prevent the loss of order, in the sense we have to have a inventories back with us. Okay, and also according to the change in market condition, in order to keep our product in the market, we should have a inventory also. Okay, so these are all the reasons for keeping inventories. And what are the types of inventories? As I discussed, three. One is raw material, another one is work in process, then third one is the finished goods. That is what represented in this. So raw materials and purchased parts, which are the inputs to the firm production system. Yes, of course, this is what the one. Then work in process in inventory, it's all about inside the production system. It may be between the inspection system, or it may be between the machineries. Okay, or it may be in between the testing center. Okay, so multiple ways the components will be there or stored locally in the industry. Okay, so that is what work in process. Then finished components will be there before dispatch to the customer. That is also one of the inventory. So these are the three types of inventories available in any industry. Okay, so what are the cost involved or cost parameters in terms of inventory? In the sense, you have four cost. One is ordering cost, otherwise cost of ordering. How much cost you are spending for ordering the parts, that is what, and how much the cost you are spending for carrying. That is what carrying cost means. Work in process cost, right? So material handling cost will be there before it is delivering to the customer, right? That is one. And how much setup cost you will be spending for the here materials you can, sorry, machineries you can consider, that one. And the stock out cost or cost of shortage. Suddenly you may be having shortage of materials, that you will be spending little more money to buy some parts for emergency situation, like increased demand, sudden increased demand. So that kind of cost is comes under stock out cost or cost of shortage. So these are the four cost: ordering cost, carrying cost, setup cost, and the shortage cost of shortage. So these are the cost parameters under your inventory. Then two other concepts are there: lead time and reorder point. Okay, so what is meant by lead time? Every it's a very quite familiar word for you guys. The time period between placement of order and arrival of the material is known as lead time. So lead time is different, cycle time is different. The previous two slides before we saw, it's a cycle time. Okay, so cycle time is the placement of order to the final product. That is cycle time. But this is lead time. Lead time is the placement of order and arrival of the material. So before you are starting the production, you order some parts or raw materials for production. So once you place that order, and when it will be reaching to your, the material is reaching to your industry, the time gap is called as a lead time. Then reorder point is the another term, the level of inventory at which an order is placed. Okay, in particular inventory level, we may know that okay, so is soon we may need to order some inventories, or we need to purchase some parts, otherwise we can't able to produce. It's not like a last minute purchase. Definitely they will be purchasing like well in advance to, so that without disturbing the production they can able to run. Okay, so level of inventory, in what level we have to order. Okay, so that is what your reorder point. Okay, level of inventory at which an order is placed. When we are placing the order, in what level of inventory, that is what your reorder point. So lead time, you know that placement of order and the arrival of the material, and reorder point is an order placed. When the order is placed at that time, what is the level of inventory? That is what your reorder point. Okay, then the term we discussed as of now is inventory alone. Now the term is introduced here is inventory control. Okay, what is meant by inventory control? Inventory control is a planned approach. It is an approach, okay, on systematic approach of determining multiple things. What are the things? What to order, okay, what to order, when to order, how much to order, and how much to stock. Okay, so inventory control is a planned approach of determining what to order, when to order, how much to order, and how much to stock, so that costs associated with the buying and storing are optimal without interrupting production and sales. So some of the keywords is very very important. It is a systematic approach or planned approach. Inventory control is what? Planned approach or systematic approach of determining multiple things. What are the things? What to order, what we have to order. One. Then what time or when to order. Then okay, we know what to order, when to order, but we should know that how much we are need. Okay, so how much to order and how much to stock. Okay, so these are the things we have to ask. Okay, so that cost associated with buying and storing are optimal. So simply, if we have lots of fund with us, we can't buy any much. We should not buy actually. So so that we can save some cost. Okay, so then only based on these questions like how much to order, when to order, how much to keep it in our as a stock, based on the things only we will be knowing that what are the costs is associated with the buying, and also once we bought the component we have to store it, right? How much cost involved in involved for storing. So why it is needed for storing? Because we will be placing some particular location. Maybe it should be temperature controlled environment needed, or in under air conditioned room we have to keep it, or particular humidity level only we have to maintain. So for that we have to spend some money, right? So so for that only storing cost is there will be a storing cost. Okay, that is also cost associated with storing. Okay, so we have to find optimal cost for buying and also storing, so that we can run the production and we can continue for the sales without any disturbances. Okay, that is what all about inventory control definition. Then in that inventory control, there will be two objectives. The both objectives are totally different in nature. Okay, so that's why the first point line is mentioned here is concerned with achieving an appropriate compromise between two opposing objectives. Okay, so you have to compromise objectives, two different approaches. Okay, two different objectives will be there. You have to compromise. For that there will be a systematic approach. That is what we have discussed in the previous slide. There will be a planned approach. Okay, similarly inventory control in the sense you have to have a planned approach in order to compromise between two opposing objectives. So what are the two opposing objectives? This is the two opposing objectives. First objective is minimizing the cost of holding inventory. Okay, minimizing the cost of holding inventory. Second objective is maximizing the customer service. So what does it mean? Minimizing the cost of holding inventory in the sense what implies keeping inventory to a minimal level. So you have to keep the inventory very very minimal level, so that cost for keeping the inventory will be lower. Okay, this is one objective. Okay, of course we can able to achieve if we keep a minimum inventory. We no need to spend lots of money for holding that particular means holding inventory in the sense what storing. Okay, storing the inventories in the sense properly you have to store that what are the things you are buying, before going for production. If you are not storing it properly, then it may spoil, right? So the no meaning of keeping that. Then you have to throw that out. So for that, you have to spend some money to store it. So if we keep minimum inventory, the holding cost for that inventory storage will be less. Okay, that is one of the main objectives. Second objective is, remember, it's the two opposing objectives. Second, you clearly read, maximizing the customer service. So how we can able to maximize the customer's service? So multiple ways are there. Another one important way is keeping large stock on hand, so the customer can immediately take the required components. For example, you have to keep finished components in multiple numbers according to the demand, or surprise demand, or unexpected demand from the customer. Suddenly sales may go up. That time you have to provide them the product. Then only they will be keep the faith on your company. If we are not able to provide, then they lose the faith, then they may go for some other company. So in the sense, you have to keep lots of stock with you guys. So here, what is this? You have to keep lots of stock, in the sense you have to spend some money for storing it, right? So previous first point is what? Minimizing cost of holding. But second one is maximizing the customer service by keeping lots of stock. So both are vice versa. So this one, if we find optimal one to satisfy both the cases, both the objectives, that is what the approach. That approach is called the inventory control approach. Okay. So in that, two questions again concerned with the two related problems that must be solved when managing inventories and independent demand items. So how many units should be ordered? Okay, so how many units we have to order, and when the order should be placed. These two questions also very important. So how many units should be ordered? We can get answers for that through this analysis or formula. So economic order quantity formula will be discussed in coming slides. Okay, so using this formula like economic order quantity, we can able to identify how many units should be ordered, and when we have to order can be identified through the reorder point. So previously we discussed about two definition. One is lead time, second one is the reorder point. Okay, so reorder point is the meaning is what? The level of inventory at which an order is placed. Okay, so we know that we are going to place one particular level of inventory we have. So in this level we need to order. So that is what reorder point. So that is what here we should know, that when we have to place the order for the inventory. Okay, so this is what second question. So first one is how many units should be ordered, which can be identified through the economic order quantity formula, will be discussed later, and when should be order through the reorder points method we can able to identify. So this one. Then what are the objectives of inventory control? We know that what is meant by inventory control. So from this slide, it's clearly stated that it's a planned approach to determine what to order, when to order, how much to order, and how much to stock, so that cost associated with the buying and storing are optimal. Okay, so if we have this definition, the objective also will be aligned with this definition for inventory control. So that is what the objectives of the inventory control. One is to ensure adequate supply of products to customer. This is not material, this is product. Okay, to ensure adequate supply of products to customer and avoid shortage as far as possible. Okay, you should keep enough products or finished components with you. Then only we can able to satisfy the customer. Suddenly the demand increase, we can able to provide them. Okay, one. Then to make sure that financial investment is in inventories is minimal. So two points we discussed, two opposing thing. Minimizing the inventory cost, okay, storage cost, and also maximize. So again, these two points are repeated here also, right? So we have to keep inventories in minimal level. That is also, that is by optimal way only we can able to identify by through approaches. There will be a technical approaches will be there. Through that, our formulas will be there. From that we can able to get. Then efficient purchasing and storing, consumption and accounting for materials. So material, how much we are going to purchase, how we are going to store, how we are going to utilize, or how we are going to measure it. It's also one of the main objective of inventory control. And also keeping timely record of inventory. It is very, very important. You have to have a record of inventory. Until otherwise, if you are keeping a record of inventories in your industry, it is no meaning. You don't know what is there in the industry, in the sense you can't run the production. Okay, timely record of inventories is very, very important, and timely action for the replacement or refill is also very, very important. And you have to keep some stock. You have to keep like a buffer of stock for the variation in the lead times of the delivery. Okay, suddenly sometime lead time may vary. What is meant by lead time? So once you purchase the component until it reaches, okay, the material reaches the company, that is what lead time. So if you are waiting for the once you purchased and you are expecting, okay, next week I want to have a product, a material. So you placed it today. Usually it will come next week. Okay, suddenly some strike happen or some reasons, some lockdown reasons, and then the material is not reaching on time. You will be need to stop your production. So that should not be happening. So you should have some buffer materials for you to continue the production by considering that unexpected situation also. Okay, so that also increase the inventory cost. But what level we have to keep? So you should have a clear knowledge on the past histories, what is happening in and around. Then only we can able to spend some money for keeping reserve stock. Okay, that is also so this will provide the scientific base for both long-term and short-term planning of the material. Okay, as I said, inventory is a resource. Three, man, material, machineries also, but mostly material related concepts only discussed here. Okay, so these are all the objectives of inventory control. Then what are the benefits of having inventory control? Yes, of course we know that. So what are the objective? If we fulfill that, we will be getting the benefits, right? So what are the benefits? Improvement in customer relationship because of the timely delivery, right? We have the enough products, finished component with us. Whenever demand increases, we can able to give them. So we can get the good feedback, and we can build a positive relationship between the customers, and we can run the production smooth without any disturbances or inherence, and efficiently we can able to utilize the working capital, and also we can able to minimize the loss due to damage or failure or some theft may happen. Okay, so we can able to utilize it properly, and we can purchase it if we economically means cost effective manner, and also we can eliminate of purchasing duplicate order. So sometime it may happen. Already we have sometime already we have some material with us. Sometimes some in company may order again and again without knowing whether the components are or the parts are with them, because no proper record is there means it will happen sometime. Okay, so we should know, or they may not stored it in sequential order or properly. They might have not stored it, so they don't know where it is available. Suddenly they want the product. They will check to the store and think, oh, it is not there, just place it's a duplicate order. Already you have, again you are ordering in the sense merely no meaning. Okay, so for that inventory control will be useful. So in terms of inventory control record is very, very keen. Okay, so that will give you like when to buy, where how much to buy, and how much we are going to sell. Okay, so every controlled records will be there. Every records of inventory will be stored in that one. So that record is very, very important. Sometimes they will be recording that in the systematic way, or in regular intervals like a monthly or day wise or quarterly, like that they will record. Some company will be having with experience, they will calculate. Okay, so this is what inventory control record. So what are all the inventory control records? How it will be stored in this is multiple ways. One is perceptual inventory control record, out of stock states how much out of stock is there. and how much to buy, and what is the purchase order we have, okay, and how much suppliers we have, and how much they have supplied to us, and some of the companies will be returned to our company that stock or price book. So in multiple ways we can able to get inventory control. Inventory control in the sense what? It's all about the products, components or raw material, where it is stored and how it is transferring inside the industry. Or if we place the order, that will be also there. Our purchase order will be there. Once we send it to the customer, that sales order will be there. Our demand order will be there. Okay, so all things are records of inventory. And many ways we will be having the like a systematic approach or scientific approach for doing the inventory control. Okay, so in this case, in any industry, whether small scale or medium scale or large scale, we have to have an inventory control. When the number of item in inventory is large, and then large amount of money is needed to create such inventory. Yes, inventory is large in the sense money spent on that inventory will be more. So we have to have a proper management. It becomes the concern for the management to have a proper control over its ordering, procurement, maintenance, and consumption. Of course, if we have a large inventory, we should have a large investment on inventory management. Then we have to have a proper control over that. So it is very, very obvious. So proper techniques should be there. So what are the techniques available under the inventory control? So various types are there. In that, most popular one, mostly used in the industry, is the ABC analysis. That is the first one. Second one is HM analysis. Third one is VED analysis, FSN analysis, SDE analysis, Gulf analysis, and SOS analysis. In that, ABC analysis will be most widely used. Okay, so these are the list of techniques available to do the inventory control. I think we can continue this in our next video. Okay.